GC here, and we're back with a movie review. Hector and the Search of Happiness. Directed by Peter Chelsom. It's based off the book of the same name by François Lelord and stars Simon Pegg, Rosamund Pike, and a lot of people down below as cameos. So what's this film about? Well, basically it's about Simon Pegg playing a psychiatrist who feels that he hasn't lived life enough to actually tell how his patients to live out their life and find the meaning of happiness. So he's like, dude, I'm gonna leave and go on a whole search of life and figure out what happiness is. And he goes off, and basically the entire film is about him going to different locations, meeting up with different people, and just writing down notes and just really trying to figure out what makes people happy. So what did I think? Well, first off, you might have seen the trailer and you would have felt that this movie feels very similar to The Secret Life of Walter Mitty starring Ben Stiller. I would say that these two movies are only similar in concept, but not premise or motivation or characters. So give it that, give it another try. If you like Simon Pegg and Rosamund Pike in the cast, I would definitely give it a go, because I did, and I enjoyed it for sure. I really did enjoy the characterization in this movie in terms of just the whole foil and just the different relationship that Hector had throughout the film, with Rosamund Pike, his girlfriend, that he leaves behind as he goes off to this trip. And all the different people he meets throughout the trip is really enjoyable, as they are so different and really gives a different sense of what happiness is, and really brings up the whole search of happiness, what we really here to do. And I think in terms of story, it's great. Now, in terms of filming itself, this movie isn't that amazing. Let's say I would just compare to Walter Mitty. Walter Mitty looks beautiful. This movie feels more authentic and feels like it would look like in terms of just the locales that he goes to. It feels like a psychiatrist who's really doing homework for his job would go to these places, whereas Walter Mitty really goes off to these great grand places and what have you. So, in terms of filming and cinematography, it isn't that amazing here. It's just your typical drama thing, but I really did enjoy the characterization here much more. Whereas Walter Mitty, I enjoyed it aesthetically and the premise that it had. It was just interesting for sure. Whereas Hector here is the drama and the characterization and just really getting down to what happiness is. And I really loved how they portray this search of happiness, and it was enjoyable in that sense in terms of just really figuring out that different people have different ways of being happy. And it's a feel-good movie for sure, and it's just understandable, even though some things, as authentic as it is far-fetched and totally, whoa, that would not have happened to one person, because that can't be possible, because coincidences don't happen this often. So basically, it was a good feel-good film. Simon Pegg, normal Simon Pegg acting, and the cast was interesting, it was fun to watch. So it's not a very, oh my goodness, like thought-provoking film, but it was just like a nice reminder that different people had different reasons to be happy. And basically, it is enjoyable in that sense of a reminder. And the way it portrays this is interesting, because the different locations that they go to, the different people that he meets throughout the trip is fun. Now, in terms of what I didn't like, there wasn't much. I mean, sure, it does feel like Walter Mitty downscale, but I give it the authenticity of what a psychiatrist would do in terms of the real world doing your homework sort of thing. And the whole coincidence, like, yeah, that can't happen. That was kind of like, you gotta turn your brain off for that a bit, because it's just too far-fetched and the coincidences are just way too often. But beyond that, I don't really have that much complaints, because it's not an amazing, you must watch film, but it was just like a good, feel-good movie about happiness. And I mean, the movie is called Hector and the Search of Happiness, so I would definitely say it achieved its goal and what it wanted to bring to audiences. So that's pretty much it. So if you have seen Hector and the Search of Happiness, leave your comments down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And that is all for this movie review for Hector and the Search of Happiness. Out.